blue crane is South Africa's national bird. It's an endemic species. But of all the birds in the country, it's the one species that persistently flies into power lines, electrocuting itself or dying from the impact. It's the result of an increasing need to electrify smaller towns while growing through economic development, especially here in the Western Cape, where agriculture is a key industry.
There's a lot of agricultural activity in the Western Cape, and this draws blue cranes to the area. They like to feed in these open areas. So during the day they're out feeding, and at night they congregate at roosts. It'll normally be a shallow pan, where there's some water, and there's often power lines around these areas. So when they get together in these large flocks, there's actually a high risk of collision, and they also fly late during the day or early morning when the visibility is poor.
Studies have shown that blue cranes don't have the best binocular vision, so they only see the power lines at the very last moment. Their big bodies and large wingspan also make it very difficult for them to perform an emergency turn before an impact with a power line. The Western Cape is home to 15,000 blue cranes. It is the largest population anywhere in the country, but it also has the most fatalities.
There was a study that was completed a few years ago looking at trying to get a good estimate of how many birds we're losing each year, or how many blue cranes we're losing each year to power line collisions in the Western Cape. And that study came up with a pretty accurate estimate of around 10% of this province's population are hitting power lines.
Wind farms may have also become a key fixture in the Western Cape, but like power lines have become somewhat of an obstacle to these majestic birds. The blue crane in many ways faces the same predicament that so many other species around the world face when in conflict with human encroachment. For the national bird, however, an urgent solution is needed, and researchers have turned to this: bird flight diverters that have been installed along power lines in a pilot project at key roosting sites around the country.
We've tested very, very large spans of power lines in the Karoo with diurnal flappers, just a piece of plastic disc that hangs on the line, makes it visible. We designed a diverter that's visible at night, the OWL device. It's got a solar panel on it. It charges up during the day, the LEDs flash at night, and it makes the line visible to birds that fly in misty or low light conditions.
It's not all bad news though, because early indications show that the bird diverters seem to be showing promising results, and that a resurgence in the number of blue cranes in the Western Cape is just on the horizon. Traver, CCTV, Cape Town.